Never mind me while I'm stepping out my circumference. I feel the nerves trickling down. It's life humbling. My words stutter, stumbling, staggered on court of guard. This the life of a jigaboo, introverted, I'm scarred. Whoa, my murder been the melodies while they sing the choruses. Direct message from Slade saying we need more of it. Paranoia in my state, I see envy at high rates. Now it's crop off the fate, turn great so I fly straight. Was gone for a minute, now I'm back like an X with big factors. I see you turn flat like extinct like some raptors. When I drop through prayer, persistence, practice and patience, we move to greener pastures. They're saying life is a matter of mastering basics and mastering patience. More time I get tired of waiting. Maybe it's fate procrastinating. The times are bad, so it really had me sprung. Like she got me doing things that I never do. You thought that we connected when in fact it was trauma bonding. Just leave it up to me to break the rules, never corresponding. My childhood filled with fence climbs and knee scrapes and bikes and kicking it by the street signs. The older I get, I'm trying to lessen any screen time. The bounce back heavy, I rock steady on climb. This world's a fucking loop, the news will pick and choose whatever truth they wanna give to you. I cannot stomach it, so I poop. Oops. When life turns sweeter, the lemon mouths get louder. But I'm amplified with ghosts from God like that boy Fowler. Working like I got that point to prove. But truth be told, the proof is right in the pudding, no point to lose. 60 for the crepes, yeah, I did that just because. She expecting more, girl, you know I'm saving up. Left me on red, well, it was what it was. Never stress over them joints or in downs when times get rough, so I ghost. Long are the days when we was close, and when I see you, it's like two completely different type of ghosts. I approach the weekly fire dropping, which I'm feeding. Still, I don't expect to be the one, your boy having fun. Still, the songs get spun like Beyblades and teacups. My fun fair to those that ever really know me from jump. So what's up, I've been the one they all depended on like TJ. Now they're dead wilder than a furry knockout punch, leaving them straight stunned. It's hella fun. Through the lot, now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keeps dealing me cards, I keep fitting in love.
What's going on, people? What is going on? It's G. We're back in the damn building. Guys, if you're watching this on the replay, if you're here in the chat and you're live and you're rocking with us this evening, please make sure to smash that like button. It is very, very important for myself, plus anybody else who then jumps on the channel this evening. As you guys can obviously see behind me, you can see in the title, we are talking today about Cody Gakpo. A lot of discourse about him since he joined Liverpool, which we'll obviously get into. Any questions, anything you guys want to, anybody who's in the chat, if you want to say anything, please drop them in the chat and then we'll go through them at the end of the show. But of course, I can't do this by myself. So this evening, obviously, I'm joined by K, Mac and Els. Both of you guys, how are you doing this evening? Thank you for joining me this lovely evening, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, good, thanks. All good, thanks. All right. You're well too.
No, I'm all good. Big up K-Mac, of course, in the damn building. Big up Stephen, the truth seeker. Yes, we are trying to get to the truth, man. We are obviously trying to get to the truth with a lot of these videos. And big up, by the way, as well. Big up JJ. JJ did drop a video. If you haven't seen it, make sure you head on over to his page. Make sure you're subscribed, otherwise you won't be able to watch it. He had a conversation himself. He dropped a video, should I say, in regards to Cody Gakpo. Dropping his points, good stats and stuff like that. It was a very enjoyable watch. So make sure you guys head on over to the Gaffer. Make sure you check it out and smash a like button, most importantly. So, Cody Gakpo. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. Obviously, signed him last season in the midst of a very, I'm going to say the word poor. You guys can use any other word that you want to use. That's totally up to you guys. Meaty. Yeah, I definitely use that word, meaty. Very poor season, very meaty season, very crap season, whatever. We obviously finished 5th by the end of it. He came through the middle, halfway through, when we were literally, all of us were begging, absolutely begging for Klopp, the club, Manan, to sign a midfielder. We were all sitting there saying, guys, please, please, please sign a midfielder to this team Obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but sign a midfielder and we can at least push up the league. You know, we were still praying that we could potentially get into a European spot. I remember at one point we were all sitting there just hoping we get into Europa League. Forget Champions League. We were just like, look, if we get to Europa League, yo, that's a successful season with the way that obviously, you know, things were panning out and stuff like that. But Cody came in instead. He was the only signing we did make. First of all, and I'll go to UK Mac and then I'll go to over to you, Els. When we made that signing, what was your first like initial thoughts?
Do we need another left winger? And then we didn't play him on the left wing.
I agree. I totally agree. Els, what about you, man? How was you when we first signed him? Like, what was you? Yeah, just that initial kind of thought. You know what I mean? Like that kind of damn. Like, okay, we signed him. Cool. From Manchester United, by the way. I know Man United fans want to act like we didn't take him from. Yes, you guys were doing videos. I saw all of the videos where you're putting him in your starting 11, all of that good stuff. We ended up signing him. But yeah, sorry.
I didn't know much about him. So we saw him in the World Cup and he looked decent. He looked tidy. But I hadn't seen much of him. But I kind of trusted the club. And especially at the time, we were quite in desperate need of another player if I cast my mind back, because I'm pretty sure we had Diaz was out and we needed like another player in there. So it was kind of like I was happy to see him join because of that, but I didn't know much about him. And when I saw clips of him, he looked good. You know what comps do. They make every player look good. But I was always going to judge him on what he would do for Liverpool, because Liverpool like to sometimes pick, because I think it was a Pep suggestion from what I remember, because Liverpool sometimes like to look at qualities and maybe not necessarily play them in the position they did at the previous club, as we saw with Ginny, for example. So I understand why we started to play him central, but I'm sure we'll come back to that. But yeah, initial thoughts was don't know much about this guy, but we need another forward, and let's see what he can do.
No, for real. And obviously we signed him, from PSV. When he was over there at PSV, I mean, that first half of the season that he was having, if I just quickly get it up here, I was looking at his first half of the season for PSV, and then obviously heading into the World Cup and stuff like that. I was like, all right, cool. Like, this is it's a good player that we're signing. It's not a poor player. But I just didn't feel like that was the signing that we needed at that moment in time, if I'm being totally honest with you. If I just get it up here. Just give me 2 secs. Yeah, I just didn't feel like that was the signing that we...
Similar to his season he had with us. Like, I think he scored like 9 goals, didn't he? He kind of done the same, didn't he?
Yeah. And that was the kind of... That was the kind of vibe that I was kind of getting with someone like Gakpo, was just like, okay... I think, and I'll be honest, I feel like everybody kind of had that feeling with him, which was, all right, you're calm, you know what I mean? You're not bad or anything like that. It's just, do we realistically need someone like you at this moment in time? But of course, we were kind of just in a position where it was just more about, we just needed, as El said, we kind of just needed the bodies in, especially in that kind of position. And you guys can obviously see here, he played 14 games in the Eredivisie at the time. Got 9 goals and 12 assists. Make sure you guys can obviously see that. Yeah, 9 goals, 12 assists. He played 5 games in Europa League at the time. 5 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. So 5 and 5 goals and assists. And then obviously went to the World Cup. And of course, he was doing his thing. He actually finished that season with 20 goals.
3 in the World Cup.
Yeah, and he scored 3 in the World Cup. 20 goals and 20 assists in 50 games last season. So when if we didn't take everything that Liverpool did, like if you just took that out, if I showed you guys just that stat, would you be happy with a player like that if they ended the season like that?
Yeah, they were Diaz stats. They were similar to Diaz, like what he was doing.
No, facts. And go on. Sorry.
But the thing is, we didn't play him where his strengths were. Like we still haven't. Like it's really bizarre. Like we can go into more detail, but he's not an assist monster for us because he's not in a position to be an assist monster. He's got an absolutely amazing cross on him. Like just watch him for PSV, watch him for Holland. Like He puts a fantastic ball in the box from the wing. We don't play him. He's played. I think he's played left-sided once for us, hasn't he? Is it once or twice, maybe? Like, seriously,
Yeah, this season.
It's crazy. It's the
And
conundrum
this is
that you're talking about.
and this is what I'm saying, is that it then becomes that conundrum, because when we look at him this season, you're then looking at a player where you're like, okay, this season you've been kind of all over the gaff, even in terms of the minutes that he's playing, even in terms of the positions that he's then playing in these minutes. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, all right, that's not like, it's going to be difficult for someone like yourself to really gain any real momentum. You know, he started off the season, as we can see here, up against Chelsea in that 1-1 draw. Started off, as we know, in that centre midfield position. Then played again against Bournemouth the next game. 66 minutes first game, 62 the second, 58, 25, 65. Obviously, this is for Holland, 81, 56, you know, straight after that. So you're thinking, all right, he's not playing in his natural position, but he's still getting the game time. At the bare minimum, he's still getting at least some kind of game time. And then from there, you can kind of see, you know, Lask didn't play 9 minutes against bloody West Ham, got the 90 against Leicester, where he's obviously scored in. Then obviously played 45 against Spurs, where he got the goal. Toulouse, 23 minutes. Nottingham Forest, 32 minutes. Then he comes back in, he plays 81. Then he's back down to 24 minutes. Then he's playing 73, 83. I can go on and on and on with him. It's just that pure inconsistency in his actual game time. And I think, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I think that's where the killer is with someone like, you know, Cody Gakpo.
No, you go. You go. I want to do some stats on him in a minute, so you go. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, when we saw the best of Cody Gakpo is when he had a consistent run between, I think it was from the Everton game, when it was Nunez, Gakpo, Salah together. In my opinion, that is probably the best we've seen the front three, this new era of a front three, will perform cohesively well at the same time. And Cody Gakpo was massive in that. Even the games against Real Madrid, he probably was the brightest spark. I saw a lot. I liked him in the centre. I still, personally, I think that's his best position.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily because he doesn't have strengths on the wing. I just think it's the way Liverpool like to play and the way Klopp likes his wingers. He likes pace on the wing. That's why he likes the likes of Diaz, obviously Mane before he left. He's put Nunez out there. And I think that's probably the issue at the moment with Gakpo in terms of getting minutes, because Luis Diaz has the pace and Nunez is obviously favoured as well. And then it's like, where do you play him? And he just hasn't had the game time. He's been put here, there and everywhere. I absolutely hated him in midfield. I think every time he's played in midfield, Klopp has had to change it. I remember, I think it was, he did it against Crystal Palace, had to change it again, bring Elliott and Jones on. And then he did it again against the following game. And I was like, what's he doing? Like, forget it. He's not a midfielder. So I think that's the problem, just consistency. And he's a rhythm player because he's a very tidy player, Cody Gakpo. He hasn't got tons of pace. He's a powerful runner, but he hasn't got necessarily pure pace. And he's going to rely on that rhythm. So once he doesn't have the game time, it's always going to be a bit for him. So I can understand the form. I still have a lot of belief in him. I just think we need to maybe try Gakpo, Nunez, and Salah again. I would happily have Gakpo start in the centre and him and Nunez rotating as they did at the back end of last season, because I thought that worked really well. And Diaz, in my opinion, hasn't performed as consistently to warrant those minutes necessarily. But yeah,
Diaz is another conversation to have. I'll tell you that much. As El said, I mean, let me take that banner off. Left wing. This is obviously against Norwich as of recently. I just picked like random games, by the way. This isn't like last games or whatever. It's just random games. But these are just to show everybody the kind of positions that he has been playing. Left wing, then out there on the right, you know, against Arsenal as of recently. And then, of course, playing that centre midfield position. He's also played, as El said, up front. And I think when he came into the squad, obviously Bobby was leaving. We knew that he was going to leave come the end of the season. I think we all, well, myself anyway, let me not speak for everybody. Myself, we kind of looked at it and thought to ourselves, I see Elle smiling. I know people, you know, I know Firmino touches a lot of people's hearts. So I apologize, people. I, I, I apologize, people. I apologize. That's a legend right there. But a lot of people saw Gakpo coming in and almost playing that Firmino role, because we, as fans, we don't know what Klopp's really thinking, but as fans, we kind of looked at him for, okay, if you're replacing what you used to have. So of course you still got Salah there. On the left wing, you're trying Diaz, you're trying Nunez to try and potentially replicate what Mane's done. And then of course down the middle, you're trying to maybe implement Gakpo. And to be honest, he was all right. Like at first I was a little bit like, oh God, this guy is not doing the business. But then he grew into that role. And if you even look, this is Bobby's heat map. This is obviously now he plays for Al Ahly. But when he was at Liverpool in his last season, everywhere. Like Bobby don't have a position. This guy is just floating everywhere, etc., etc. This is then Cody Gakpo's. Again, more so on that left-hand side, on that left wing position, but again, floating everywhere, left wing, right wing, centre forward, all of that kind of good stuff. And again, I feel like that's what we thought we were going to see, but I don't know what it is, because obviously we've seen it with Gomez, but that's obviously through injury in terms of playing left back, right back, centre back, whatever. But with Gakpo, he's doing it the most. Like when he was playing for PSV, from what I can remember, and again, this is just based off of just like clips and maybe watching a couple Europa League games, you know, from them. This is the kind of Gakpo I remember seeing. Like even in the World Cup, this is the kind cutting in from that left-hand side, you know, when he does play through, you know, if he does play through the middle with Holland or anything like that, again, he loves running on that kind of left shoulder. Exactly what Nunez likes to do, by the way. Same kind of thing, but it's on that left-hand side. Again, ball over the top. He wants to be running, cutting in and getting a shot off or finishing or doing whatever it is, but he's getting in in behind. And we just almost changed him. And that's one thing I've always said about Klopp. As good as Klopp is, and as good as has been for some players, I look at it and I think to myself, I don't feel like you needed to change his role too much in terms of if you signed him. For me, and I know Els is saying obviously down the middle, and I can agree with that because I feel like he can do a job, and I think he works well potentially with someone, potentially even maybe with a Nunez, because of the way that they kind of link up and they're quite telepathic in what they do. But I feel like off the left, I just feel like he has a tad bit more freedom. I don't know what you guys think in terms of the positions, obviously themselves, and obviously Els, you said down the middle.
So Gakpo, he had 6 seasons at PSV, 36 goals, 38 assists. He's an absolute monster. Like he was their captain. He was one of their youngest captains. I mean, he had 222 shots and 88 on target for PSV. So obviously his shooting isn't fantastic, but his contribution to the team is just stellar. Like, and I kind of get the whole thing about playing him like Bobby. We don't play with a Bobby anymore, so that's why Gakpo doesn't play. Like we play with a centre forward now. We play with a number 9. Like and Nunez stays quite high up. Jota stays quite high up at all times. Doesn't really drop back. Doesn't really do the, you know, dropping into the midfield type thing. Gakpo's absolutely atrocious in midfield, unfortunately, because he can't get away from players, and he does that turn, and he gets caught all the time. I'll give you some numbers on him this season, and this is the reason why he's in and out. Simple as this. Okay, so we've 21 games, 10 starts, 11 subs. Just like you said, he's a bit part player. Comes on, or he either starts and goes off, or he comes on. He's only had 418 touches in that. That's really bad. Like, and he's playing in positions where you want him to be more involved. Like, okay, he's playing in midfield, should be getting the ball more. Plays as a centre forward, should be getting the ball more. Plays on the right hand side, should be getting the ball more. He's not really getting involved. He's only had 29 shots this season and 11 on target. 3 goals, 2 assists. Like 2 of his goals were tap-ins. Last season he got a lot of tap-ins because he got into the box more. He doesn't really shoot, doesn't really assist. I mean, he's played 58 games, 16 goals, 5 assists, and that sounds really good. But most of that was last season, and most of that is in like non-Premier League games against not playing against a hard opposition. So he's playing against the lesser teams. Now, my biggest issue with him, and as well, and I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand with Gravenberch. He's only had 280 passes this season. Like Trent's had like 150 in one game. Like he's just not involved. And also, if you look at Gakpo, he's in lost. Okay, he is in the team.
Good omen.
He is in the team. He's lost. He's been in 11 sides that have lost at Liverpool since he's been there. He's only been with us 2 seasons. We haven't lost that many games. We don't lose many games, but he's in the sides that lose, unfortunately. I mean, I can't judge him on his PSV career because he's not been played in a PSV role. So you can't judge him against what he did with PSV because he played off the left all the time. And he was really effective, like season after season. You know,
no, that's
he's
true.
been playing since he was 18 for PSV, and he's been really good, like off the left. But he's been played twice off the left.
And he was captain of PSV
and the
as well.
thing about it as well, you just said it as well about Diaz. Diaz was pants for a long time.
Yeah.
Couldn't get in ahead of him. How could he not get in ahead of against a player that's really not in form? Like,
do you think? Go on.
Yeah, no, that's it.
No, I was going to say,
please. I'll be going on all day about him.
No, please, man. Like I said, like you know me, man. This is open floor, really.
I think he's a really good player, mate. I think he's a really good player.
And I think that's what's bugging people so much. Of course, listen, look, at the end of the day, I'm not there at training. We watch inside training, but I don't know really what's really going on, you know, in during that inside training. But do you think then, I feel like Klopp's maybe stopped doing it as much, but do you feel like then there's that kind of favoritism that he's kind of always had with players? Because for you to persist with Diaz, even when Diaz is going through bad patches, and still Gakpo has to only get minutes here and there, you know, kind of thing. I'm starting to think, okay, I get it. You want Diaz to obviously improve. You probably feel by doing so, the best way to do that is to keep playing him. He'll get into the rhythm. Because the Diaz we saw, I don't feel like it's the Diaz we're seeing today. But that Diaz, that Diaz was cooking, like 100%, absolutely cooking. Made Mane move to the center of the attack because he was so good, and we needed to get Mane, of course, into the squad. But the fact that you're not really willing to give Gakpo a bit more game time, I know he offers you a different threat than Nunes. I think he's a better finisher than Nunes in terms of composure-wise, than someone like a Darwin Nunes. But if you're not going to give him a try, I get it. It's a squad game. You can't play we're going to need to rotate because we've got so many games this season. We're trying to win all the trophies. I get all of that. And he's playing his part in the Carabao Cup. I think he's second in the goal scoring charts of that Carabao Cup. Fantastic. But ultimately, do we not feel like there's a player with a lot more potential? This is the guy who was captain at PSV. I'm not trying to say PSV is some massive club, so don't anyone think I'm trying to put them on a pedestal, but he was captain over there. I'm sure he was Holland's top goal scorer in the World Cup. I think you said he's got 3 goals in that World Cup. So this isn't just a random Weghorst type of signing where you're like, yeah, he banged in one dead country and then he came to this country and just no. This is a player that we knew had a bit of pedigree, had teams after him, had teams looking at him and thinking he could be a player that we can use in our squad, us obviously including. We ended up getting him. What is it like? How do we eventually get the best out of someone like Gakpo? People, let me know.
To be honest, I'm not sure it even matters anymore under the Klopp era because he's going.
Yeah, true.
Because let's say it's going to be Xabi Alonso, he doesn't play the same way. So I think for a lot of players, it'll be interesting to see how the new manager Xabi will see certain players and play them in certain positions. Because people like Elliot and Gravenberch and Gakpo, it will be interesting to see what he does with them, because at the moment, Diaz is absolutely a Klopp favourite, 100%. Because what he came in February, and he immediately played that final.
Yeah.
Like, Klopp doesn't always just throw in players, but I think one of the things that Klopp really loves about Diaz is that he's such a hard worker. He's a really hard worker, and Klopp, in a similar way that he liked that in Bobby, in that he worked extremely hard. Because you remember when Jota came in and he was Jota was very clearly better than Bobby, and he would not drop Bobby for anything. It didn't matter what Jota did. It took, I don't know, so much for him to finally drop Bobby and accept it. I think it's a similar thing with Diaz. He will not drop Diaz. He will play him into form. And I don't know if that form is coming, because I think it's past the point where it might not be form. It might be maybe he's lost a yard of pace or something. Something just doesn't seem quite right, because it's just not clicking. But I just don't see him consistently playing Gakpo. I think it will take an injury, to be honest, because even if you think about Jota's favoured more than him as well. So it's like, yeah, it's sticky. It's a sticky one for him. But in Cody's advantage, I don't think it won't matter too much longer, because he'll have another manager to impress, and I'm almost like a clean start.
That's what. That's one of the questions that I was going to ask you guys, but I'll ask it after this. This is obviously, the Liverpool attackers. Guys, I've taken out Salah because, again, that's Salah. I feel like it's unfair to put him in these kind of things, because he'd be the only one on all greens, give or take for everything.
Jota as well, then, mate, because Jota's an absolute monster.
I would. That to be fair, the only real ones I was going to do was Gakpo, Nunez, and Diaz. But I said, no, let me throw Jota in. At the end of the day, he's played more games than Jota in the Premier League this season. So I know he is a monster, and that's where it becomes a little bit like, ooh. But we said, you know what? Let's take a look at him. Obviously, this is per 90 minutes this season. He's played the third most amount of games, just one behind both Nunez and Diaz. So I know he's playing most of those, should I say, off the bench, but he's still getting the game time. He's getting more than, obviously, Diogo Jota. He's getting 46.5 touches a game, so more touches in the game than Darwin Nunez is, but obviously still behind Luis Diaz and Diogo Jota. Obviously, he's ranking quite low with Diaz in terms of the goals per 90, 0.3. His conversion rate, again, I almost feel that's kind of skewed, because Jota, I think that's Jota on the end there. Yeah, like, look at Jota's conversion rate. 42.11, and the rest of these guys are on 14, 11.48.
It's
really and truly,
it's the highest in all 5 leagues in Europe. Jota,
and like I said, I didn't want to add Jota in,
it's like when Ronaldo played.
Yeah, because Jota, we know, like, Jota's the best finisher that we've, or the most clinical finisher that we've got here at the football club, but he's still kind of in that he has to keep rotating. If he doesn't have a good game, then he's probably going to drop out potentially. Shot accuracy, 50%. Again, Gakpo's is the lowest. He gets 1.1 shots on per target per 90 minutes. Assists, 0.2. Chances created, he's creating the least, 1.1. Passes attempted, third on the list, 26.6. Passes completed, I think he's third on the list again. His accuracy of passing, pretty decent, to be honest. Just behind, I think that's Luis Diaz was 81.6 and Gakpo was 78. Third, sorry, on the list. His cross attempted in games, he's only attempted 0.6. His accuracy is actually really, really low, which is quite funny. Forward passes, he is doing a lot of forward passes in games. Take-ons, 1.7. So again, pretty decent. Success rates, pretty decent. Aerial duels contested per 90. Funny that Jota is probably the smallest out of all of them, and he's contesting 4.7 per 90 minutes. I find that hilarious. So obviously his duel success is going to be a little bit, because he's contesting obviously a lot more. And then ground duels, he's contesting 10.2 per 90 minutes. And in terms of the success rate, his is quite high. Again, looking at and I don't like doing the stats thing this season. I said I kind of wanted to stop doing that, because we focus so much on stats. Obviously, I just showed just to kind of compare with the other players, but I feel like we focus so much on stats that we end up losing the actual eye test when we're actually watching these players. Sometimes it's like, oh, but he's getting 3 shots per 90 minutes. Like, surely he should play. And it's like, yeah, but if you watch the games, those 3 shots are coming from God knows where, and you know they almost become a little bit pointless. But with someone like Gakpo, Els, you just said it there. Obviously, if let's just say hypothetical, because I don't like jinxing things. Let's say Xabi Alonso comes in next season, because that looks like the one that everybody kind of wants. You say it's a clean slate. I'll flip it on its head then, just to play devil's advocate. Do you not think that might be, he might be one of those players who might be looking over his shoulder and thinking, ooh, I don't know if there's a place for me because of the way that Xabi Alonso might potentially play with Liverpool? Do you think that there's going to still be a spot for him? I know we need squad players, but he might still be looking, thinking, eesh, I don't know. I really don't know.
I think it's really dependent on what Xabi Alonso will look to do. Whether he completely changes the style of play, which I don't think it will affect the squad too much, because he is very high possession, a lot of short passes, very cutesy in the way he plays. But he's also very versatile in the way he plays. Tactically, Leverkusen can switch it up and play multiple different ways. This is why they're top of the league, because they find a way to win. They find a way to win there. So I think it's difficult. Like, I think Gakpo, maybe on paper, probably would suit a Xabi Alonso, just because he's a tidy player. He's got a pass on him. But it's just, the issue with someone like Gakpo is sometimes versatility isn't always a good thing, because it's like, where do you fit? Where is your, this is why we're on this show, because where actually is your position? And that can be difficult for a new manager coming in, because sometimes you just want to almost keep it simple and then put your ideas onto it. And sometimes versatile players like a Cody Gakpo can get stuck. And it's like a little bit like Milner in his career, where he's been passed around in different positions, a bit like Gomez, which is great. Like, it's useful. But is it going to get you playing week in, week out? I'm not so sure, because the best players, we know where they play. They don't get moved around. They're there because
they're the best in that position.
You don't move them, and that's the issue that Gakpo has. And I don't know. The future it's a tough one. It's such a tough one.
Can I go on that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if we just pick 3 managers, that we're targeting, you've got De Zerbi, you've got Almiron, and you've also got Xabi Alonso. He doesn't fit in any of their teams. They don't play wide players. They play 10s. They play attacking midfielders. They play more midfielders. They play maraudering left backs and right backs. He's neither of them. Would you trust Gakpo in playing a left wing role where he has to do loads of track and back? Not for me. Not for me.
I'm literally just getting up their thing.
You really have to look at it. I mean, Alonso plays. I mean, 2 of Alonso's most dangerous players are Grimaldo and Frimpong and Wirtz. They're 2 of his most dangerous players. For me, Gakpo feels a little bit like, do you remember Elliot, where you just couldn't find a spot for him?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we really should be playing him where Salah is when Salah's not playing, but he hasn't got the pace, so we can't do that role. So then you kind of shoehorn him into a midfield role where he was really bad, and every time he played, we didn't play well, and we were sat there going, oh, it's not really Elliot's fault. He's being given a position where he can't flourish. Gakpo's the same. Like, he's been given a position that he can't flourish in midfield as a false 9. Well, now we don't play false 9 really, and then we're chucking him on the right side. But we're chucking him on the right side with other right-sided players that aren't great, as in Gravenberch. Most of the right-sided positions he's played Gravenberch has played. So, he's not really getting much supply from that side. It's
I'll show you.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I think if he was played from the start on the left, we'd be having a completely different conversation.
No,
and there's another thing as well, which I think is something that Gravenberch might suffer from. I think Gravenberch is just not Gravenberch, Gakpo. I think he's just happy to be at the club.
So it's that
he's
Curtis
like
Jones syndrome.
He's like a tourist. He's just really happy. He goes into training all happy, and he's not really giving it snarl on the training pitch like some of the other players are. And Klopp said it about Endo, didn't he? He was like, Endo didn't really show me any fight, which is why he didn't get played at first, because he wasn't giving it, that bite on the training pitch. Gakpo doesn't look like a player that does that. Doesn't look like a snarly player. Doesn't look like a player that's going to really get stuck in. Do some, the dark arts, that kind of stuff. Klopp loves that. Klopp loves the needle, and that's probably why he likes Diaz. Diaz is a bit of a street baller, learns how to play football on the streets. You know what I mean? Bit nasty about him. And look at Mane. Mane was nasty. Bobby was a bit nasty as well. How many times did Bobby foul people and not get yellow cards? I think players. What I mean? I think he suffers from that, from not having that about him as well. Sorry.
I was wondering if pressing could be a factor as well, because I'm not sure how effective of a presser Gakpo is. Because if I'm right, that first goal against Arsenal, I can't remember who Klopp was shouting at, but it was that right side.
It was Gravenberch. It was Gravenberch,
but it was just I don't know how effective of a presser he is, and that could even be an issue because, as you said with Diaz, even though he's not necessarily on it, from a defensive point of view, he can be useful. He can be, and with
that's who played right back in the end.
Exactly, he played him at right back, and this is what I'm talking about. Klopp likes the fundamentals. He likes, because with Klopp, it's off the ball first, and I think that's what people forget. Like when it was the Hendersons, the Ginnies, even though Ginny far surpassed in terms of off the ball, because his ball retention was brilliant. It was off the ball. It's pre-season. It's running. That's what it's about, fundamentals. And this is where the likes of Gravenberch and perhaps Gakpo are suffering, because they're great on the ball, but off the ball, that's where you have to be a Klopp player. And that's probably because you look at Nunes, he tracks down every single ball. He's an absolute nuisance.
Yeah, she does.
Gakpo is not a nuisance. Diaz is a nuisance when he's on his game. Salah, okay, he's not necessarily a nuisance, but he's the best player.
He's the best player. Like he gets to play.
He has to play, and this is the problem. I think you're right. Like he might just be a little bit, maybe a bit too nice. Because even Bobby wasn't nice. Bobby wasn't a nice player. I
think I was going to say, you almost have to develop that. Like he's got to remember, and I agree with what you're both saying in regards to like this nice thing. He's got to remember, bro, like this ain't PSV, with no disrespect to PSV. I think they're still top. And I don't know if they've even lost a game in Eredivisie, actually. I think they've been doing really, really well. It's not Holland, bro. And we're not PSV. Like
it's
our levels. Do you know what I mean? Like our levels and what we're in obviously since we've had Jurgen Klopp, what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do is going to require you to be a little bit nasty. It's going to require you to every now and again, I kind of need you to toe the line every now and again. And again, it doesn't always necessarily have to mean, I'm asking you to kick a man down or anything like that. No. It is those fundamentals. Klopp loves players. Like Klopp will play the most, as we saw with Jordan Henderson, the least technical player on the pitch. But guess what? Jordan Henderson used to get around the pitch like no man's business, like more than anybody else at times, more than anyone. He would get around the pitch, he'd be shouting, barking orders, telling people like Van Dijk. You're talking about the best centre back in the world. You're chatting to him like he's your friend from up the road. Like, yo, go and do this. And it's little things like that I do think someone like Gakpo does have to improve. I've got Brighton's team just quickly on the screen. So this is what they play. They don't always play this formation, but this is one of the many formations that someone like De Zerbi can play. So which is pretty good to see that he can, again, like Alonso, they can switch it up and we can go 3 at the back, 4-2-3-1, whatever it may be. This is what he played against Palace. They won 4-1, of course, at the weekend. In this formation,
that Hinshelwood as a player.
A lot of them seem like when Renate is a good player, Ferguson's a good player, Pedro's a good player, Gross, you know what I mean? Even Dunk's looking like a baller in that team. If you're looking at Gakpo, if you had to put him in this formation, where would you play him? And you have to put him in the team. So you have to find a slot for him.
Bonanote.
So you put him right kind of
around like Bonanote, Pedro position. Pedro, is that the left side? Pedro, by the way.
Pedro.
Pedro.
Yeah, João Pedro.
Cutting in there. Gakpo's got an absolute shot on him, by the way. He's got an absolute rocket on him. Like, but he doesn't use it.
No, I would agree. Pedro's position, because it's not quite a winger, because they use their fullbacks very high, and I think, and Pedro gets in the box quite a lot, so I feel like that's probably because that's where Gakpo is dangerous. That swivel when he goes back to goal and shot, that's Gakpo. Like that's where he's best. I feel like he needs to find the ball more in the box, and I think that position would work well for him. And I think with his pace and power, he could be very dangerous because, as I said, he's not necessarily a fast player, but he's a powerful runner. So it can be very difficult to stop him when he has the ball and he goes. So I think that can be dangerous if he finds that space in between the midfield and the defenders. So that's probably where I play him.
But the thing is, Klopp doesn't play with attacking midfielders like that.
No. That's what I'm just like, obviously, as you. Yeah. So what I've got up is I've got Brighton's, I've got Bayern Leverkusen's, and I've got Sporting Lisbon. So I'll show you guys the formations that they play. I'm trying to see where would you play them.
I mean, Lamptey going down the outside. I mean, that wouldn't be Lamptey. That'd be Estupiñán, who's incredible. Going down the outside, putting the ball in. You've got Gakpo drifting in, doing those tap-ins, and also, you know, he could interchange with Núñez because Núñez could play in the Ferguson role or even Jota. Pair of them can interchange, and then you've got Núñez going down the other side, crossing the ball in, just like that goal that he scored on the near post against. Who did he score that against?
What, just recently?
Yeah, was that Bournemouth? Who was that? That tap in on the outside. I think we won 2-1. No, Fulham. Was it Fulham?
Fulham, yeah. Fulham. No, it wasn't. No,
it wasn't Fulham.
I don't think it was Fulham.
Anyway, he scored.
But I remember Núñez tapping, crossing it in.
It was a really good finish. It was a really good finish. That works. But he just get played there.
No, that's true. I definitely agree.
For the life of us, we no idea why. When they're scouting him and they're literally going through the data before we sign him, they must be looking at like, oh, this guy does all this on the left. And then we sign him and go, we're not going to play him there. Like, why would we play him there?
No, listen, I'm not even going to get onto these guys and what they see and what they actually do. That's a conversation for another day. This is Amorim's formation. This is what he played against Porto. Actually, they won the game. I think it was 2-0. A 3-4-3. So again, we're seeing quite a lot. So by the way, these are the managers that we're all looking at, that we all kind of, most people agree with Amorim, as came out said. Amorim, Alonso, and De Zerbi. Those are kind of the three that everyone's looking at. Most of them do play 3 at the back. De Zerbi obviously will switch to a 4. Alonso can also do the same. Amorim, I feel like, will mostly play 3 at the back if he has the choice. So this is where he would play, or this is the style of play. Where does Gakpo fit in this? Bear in mind, by the way, we've got Jota, Diaz, Salah.
I mean, he's not getting in ahead of Goncalves because he is absolutely brilliant.
No. I don't mean like ahead of these players. I mean like for Liverpool, if we were to, Do you know what I mean? If we were to play this formation.
He plays the Gonzaga. I mean, I personally, Gakpo plays on the left for me. Like, and the thing
So
about it is,
you would be playing him
we
ahead
haven't
of
got a great
Diaz.
left-hand side, like, at the moment in attack. Like, so he plays there. Like,
no, I feel you. Els, telling me.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna put Nunes out left and put Gakpo in the middle.
what happens to
in a
Jota?
3-4-3? Yeah, I was gonna say, what happens to Diogo Jota? Like,
Oh, I don't know. You said he has to be in the team.
Okay, cool. Okay. To be fair, yeah, it's true. You haven't even mentioned Jota once in this whole conversation that we have had. Okay, cool. If you could choose just your front three in this formation, forget the guys behind him. Well, maybe you might play him in. I don't know actually. So let me not even say forget the guys behind him. If you just had to place him somewhere, would you place him anywhere? And if so, where would you put him? But I'm guessing you would go Nunes in the middle. And Nunes on the left, sorry, you said, and then Gakpo down the middle.
If I don't have to put him in, I wouldn't put him in. I think Jota has to be in, and Salah, God willing he stays, has to be in. And yeah, I have to put Nunes in there because I just think Nunes and Jota either way, left or centre forward. I just think they're way more of a threat. Jota is a machine, and Nunes, despite his flaws in finishing, is a threat. He's just a nuisance.
He actually is.
Yeah. He makes a big difference, and that's the thing with Gakpo. The game sometimes passes him by. I feel like if Gakpo is to play, he almost has to be, in my opinion, the center of it. He needs to be involved, and I feel like in the 9 that would be best. But I can't put him ahead of Jota and Nunes. Yeah, that's what's tough.
I totally agree with that as well. I thought I had to play him.
Yeah.
Which is why I
to be honest, I'm sorry, guys. I'm forcing you to choose between one of our players. I thought that it wouldn't be so difficult, but fair enough.
He's never getting it ahead of Nunes.
if you guys, and then obviously this is of course Jabiolo. This is the when they won 3-2 against Stuttgart at the weekend. They were losing twice, I think, in the game. Obviously ended up winning 90 plus minute winner. They're still unbeaten. They've got Bayern Munich. If they come away with no defeat in that game, I think they'll go on. Although they're in Liverpool's position right about now, in terms of they're not obviously Liverpool. I know we've lost 2 games this season. Fair enough, cool. We can take that, but we're still top. But the big team in our league
got a game
only
in hand.
like a couple points behind, and they've got a game in hand, so they can easily overtake us. If they draw this game with Bayern Munich and continue drawing games, because they have been a little bit shaky the last few games, just about getting through them, Bayern Munich will overtake them with more defeats than them. They're doing exactly what Manchester City do. I guarantee, and I'll say it here now, even though I did not predict Liverpool to be where they're at this present moment in time, looking at it now, I'll say it right now, Liverpool will lose less games than Manchester City this season.
For sure.
I think we'll lose less games.
But
I'm not confident that that's going to mean that we're going to win the league, though, which is a mad thing to say.
Every season as
we draw too much.
Draw too many.
We draw too many.
And that's going to be
games.
That's going to be Leverkusen's downfall as well.
Yeah. And that's where I agree with you came back.
They won't win the league. They won't win the league this season, Leverkusen. They draw too many.
All right, I'll ask you both this then, and people in the chat, I'll ask you guys this as well. Els wanted, obviously I know Els clearly, you want Jabi Alonso. K-Mac, I'm going to assume you want Jabi Alonso if we could pick a manager. I'm going to assume, I don't know. Okay, cool. So you both want Jabi Alonso. The general consensus is that everyone wants him, right? If he doesn't win the league this season, do you still want him?
Yeah.
If he doesn't win anything actually this season, do you still want him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to wait like 2 years. Like, as in, we get him and we wait 2 years before we challenge. Because this guy is...
Even if we win the league, okay. If we win the league this season, are you still willing to wait 2 years?
Yeah. This guy's worth waiting for.
Yeah, I would just want Jabi Alonso for anything. Jesus Christ.
He's
for real. For me, it's not even beyond just like Yeah, it's beyond on the pitch. I think to replace Jurgen Klopp, if Liverpool fans are going to accept someone, it has to be someone already in our hearts because it's going to be difficult for anyone to replace Jurgen Klopp. But we've got a guy who has potential, and we already love him. So I feel like it's a win-win. And I think we're a bit of a patient fan base. Like we give managers time. We gave Brendan Rodgers time, maybe more time than he deserved, but. Yeah, we give managers time. So I think we'll be willing to wait. He's a Liverpool legend. I think tactically he's brilliant. I love the way he plays. I love the versatility of his formation, of his tactics. You can see the influence he's taken from different managers, and I like that. And he seems like such a good manager as well, which I don't think is spoken about enough. He just seems like a really cool guy.
He is. You can just tell that.
People underestimate we have like a very strong Spanish contingent, but he also speaks German, English, Spanish. Yeah. So all of this is like very beneficial. So for example, someone like Nunes, he'll be able to talk to him. He doesn't need Thiago to be his translator on the sideline, for example. So it's helpful. And I just think it will be a good fit. Maybe not immediately, but I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to try because I would hate to see him go to Real Madrid and him do really well. I'll be very bitter, and I'm already very bitter. So I can't imagine how more bitter I would be at Real Madrid. So, yeah.
Big up, Rafi. No, listen. I think a lot of people will be very bitter if he goes there, smashes it with Jude Bellingham, Vinicius, Valverde. Anyways, sorry. Anyways, big up Ravi, by the way. I saw your question. I've starred all the questions. So any questions, guys, we're not going to be on it for too much longer anyway. So at the end, we'll go through any questions. So yeah, please.
Can I just talk on Alonso as well?
Chat.
I don't think people understand how talented this guy is. Like, I mean, did you know what he did with Real Sociedad with their B team? Like, he basically got promoted from a men's league with a kids team. like so he literally got their youth team promoted against men. Like it was incredible. Like even that alone.
So
he could have gone to any league in the world, by the way, and there was lower Premier League teams that wanted him. Yeah, by the way.
No. So, okay, cool. So if we're like because I'm going to get onto more about Alonso in a second anyway.
I wanted to talk more about him as well, but okay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna in the next section before we do the questions and then head out. When we're looking at someone like Alonso, so I'm just gonna say let's just use Alonso as the prime example here in terms of new manager coming in, right? If we're looking at someone like maybe not Gravenberch because we just kind of signed him, and I don't think we'd get rid of him just like that in the summer unless some stupid bid came in, but I doubt it. If you're looking at someone like your Gakpos, your Harvey Elliott's to a certain degree, and those kind of swap in, swap out, squad rotation type of players, do you not still then think that I know he can play different formations, I know he's this great manager, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Do you not still think that these guys are going to be a little bit worried about their role, so to speak, within the squad, especially someone like Gakpo? Because I know I saw a tweet earlier on today. Someone mentioned about how much money we've spent on Darwin Núñez, whatever it is, the 60, 80, whatever it is, million that we spent. And he feels like we've got a financial obligation to make this Núñez project work, but not so much with Cody Gakpo because he was only 37 to 50 million in terms of totality. So do you not still think that like someone like a Gakpo is still going to be, I don't think he's a dead player. I think he is a good player. And I do have some kind of faith that he will be able to maybe just work it out and maybe force his way into the side, potentially under a different manager like Alonso. But how long is everybody willing to wait? I know the comment that I put up there about, can't remember who put up, who mentioned it about how patient we are as a fan base. I get that. But how patient can we be? For example, Els, I know you got this love-hate relationship with Núñez in terms of, how he is, right? Núñez, for example, how long are you willing to wait until it becomes a case of, okay, my brother, look, I feel like it's been a while since we gave you the chance to do your thing. and you haven't really still like he's going to be going into his third season next season. So then, if he performs, let's say he performs at this level next season, would that be calm for you? Forget what anyone else is doing, just himself.
Nunes,
okay,
right?
Cool. Yeah, Nunes.
I think what
Big up,
saves Nunes, is that he is actually an effective winger. So that really saves him. So even if we might have to bring in another 9, he's not done at Liverpool. I still think he has a place because I think he's a good winger. Benfica use him as a winger. We've used him as a winger at times, and he's just dangerous. And I think and he's effective in that. I don't know how many assists he's got this season. It's quite high, but
Nunes got 11.
Yeah. It's quite high. So I think that really saves him. So even if we were to buy a more effective 9, I don't think that would spell the end of Nunes necessarily at Liverpool, especially when you look at maybe Diaz as well, because I think we need to look at him because can he continue playing the way he's playing and still necessarily be...
So on that point right there, if you're saying that about Diaz, we're saying obviously cool. Why not the same for Gakpo then? Because unless you think that Gakpo has outperformed Diaz as a whole in his time here.
Oh no, Gakpo's the same boat.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a few where the next maybe 18 months, maybe even less, is massive because I think, as I've said before, we don't really have a clear front three, and I feel that's not just subject to Klopp rotating. We have loads of great options, which they are good options, but I think they're just very inconsistent. And to play at Liverpool, to play at the highest level, you need that consistency in your front three. We were very privileged in terms of Jota coming in, maybe just when Bobby was going down, but when Jota came in and he kind of made it that 4. And obviously having someone like Divock Origi, we were very like privileged in that. But these players with the Gakpos, with the Diazes, are they going to be happy to necessarily be maybe bench players? So if they don't necessarily establish themselves in the starting 11, 100%, even though Diaz under Klopp, 100%, but because we're changing managers, maybe he won't be that favourite anymore. And another manager, Xabi, might say, you're not performing, I'm not playing you. Then there is a spot essentially open. Because as great as Nunes has been effectively, maybe not in his goal scoring, he's probably out of him, Gakpo and Diaz, he's 100% the favourite to just cement his place, especially with what you said, the price, we're invested in him. And the fan base love him. That's the thing, they really love him. They love Nunes.
I can't lie. Like when I go to games sometimes, or when I go to games, this season, I'm not going to a lot, but when I'm going to a couple games this season, and when I'm listening on the TV, it does jar me when guy takes 11 shots in a game and I'm still hearing Nunes. And I'm like, I get it. I get all of that, but I almost feel like you're treating him almost like he's like Ben Doak. You're almost treating him like he's Ben Doak's age. He's just come through the academy and you're just trying to G him up. I'm like, okay, at some point, someone must be frustrated. There's no way a guy took 11 shots in one game and not one person in the stadium said, for flip's sake, Nunes, I mean, you know what, score one if you could just do that. But then he gets an assist. I don't know.
G, all the games we've lost this season, Nunes.
Don't tell me. I knew you. Yeah, how did I know?
Nunes didn't start. Nunes is the pace setter. Nunes is our tempo. He is. I'm sorry, mate. Like as much as he takes 15 bloody shots in one game, and it's the post 4 times, and it's infuriating. Mate, he is the most potent attacking monstrosity against anybody. They hate him. Goalkeepers hate him. I mean, what he's doing now, mate, is he's making goalkeepers pull off world-class saves. He wasn't doing that He wasn't doing that earlier on in the season. He was just hitting the goalie point blank. Like goalie didn't even have to move. But now he's really making goalies work. It's not going to be long, mate, till he puts 4 or 5 past one team. Seriously. Like, I feel sorry for Burnley if he's fit. like Trafford's got a night on Saturday. I've got an afternoon on Saturday if he's fit. Can I just talk about Alonso for a little bit longer? Wax lyrical about this guy. Everybody calls him like a Liverpool legend. He was only at the club for 4 years. Like,
that's the bit that almost confuses me as well. But I can understand why. I understand.
I know, it's crazy. He won I think he won 4 trophies with us. So he was with us when we won a lot of trophies. Every club he's been to, he's won a league. By the way, apart from Liverpool. I mean, he's learned.
To be fair, that's Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. So
yeah, I know.
Anyone could have done that. But to be fair,
but he's learned his trade under Pep Guardiola, Ancelotti, and Jose Mourinho, and Rafa. So he really is a guy who is destined for great things. The only question I've got is, and I do worry, if he wins the league, if he wins like a double, yeah. So if he wins he wins the cup and the league with Leverkusen,
he's on for
even the Europa League, because I wouldn't rule out him winning the Europa League. By the way, I wouldn't rule out us having them in the final. I do think he'll stay. I do think he'll stay. I do think he's the type of guy that would stay and give it a go as the first ever manager in 45 years to win the league with Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen haven't won anything since 1993. He's gonna rip up the record books. He's gonna be a bit of a legend with them, and I think he would give them a year or two. I genuinely do. And if you look at the Bayer Leverkusen kind of setup, it's a bit like Brighton. It's a bit like Brighton. They are massively overachieving to get as high as they are. I mean, they're always there or thereabouts, but they're a Moneyball team. That they've got directors of football that buy gems and sell them on for more. As soon as he tipped up, I mean, he sold their best player, Diaby. The guy came in like a big head saying, "I'm the best player. I want this. I want that," and he just went, "See you later, mate. I don't need you in my team." Got rid of their best player, and they haven't looked back. It's crazy. Look at Wirtz. Wirtz is a £100 million player. He's a £100 million player in a year or two. He's 20 years old. He's probably Todd Bowley signing in the next 2 years.
I hope
you know what I mean?
You go to these clubs like bloody Manchester United and Chelsea.
The hardest thing for the next Liverpool manager is the fans. It's the fans, because it's not about FSG. It's about the hurt of losing Klopp, because Klopp the man is going to be the hardest thing to replace, not the management. He hasn't been amazing, okay? You know what I'm like. I'm real. I've spoken to you enough times about this. 9 seasons, one league. That's just not good enough for me. He's lost more finals. All that kind of stuff. But replacing the man is going to be really difficult. And if you bring in Alonso in, you're bridging that gap quickly. And the fans will be on board with him straight away. And if he turns around and does what Klopp says and says, "Look, it's going to take a couple of years to get us back up there again. Wait with me. Let's do it together." The fans will be like, "Okay, cool." And he may challenge the next season. He might do what he did with Leverkusen. Go on a mad beating run.
Listen. You know what? I feel like for his own benefit, it would almost make more sense for him to not see Liverpool win the league, because then there's not that level of you just won the league last season. You can't be finishing outside the top 2 the following season, because then I get it. They will give him time, and I don't think we would want him out or anything like that if we finish 3rd next season. But it will be a bit ooh, that's a tough act to kind of like any top job, that when another manager comes in straight after a guy who's just won a league title, when I can't remember who it was who took over Barcelona after Pep left. It might have been Vinalova, it might have been him. But those guys, when they come in, Luis Enrique, at Barcelona, whoever comes in after Pep Guardiola leaves, what do you call it? Manchester City, when Pep Guardiola took over from whoever it was at Bayern Munich, that level of expectancy at these top clubs, it's difficult. And look at Bayern Munich. People don't even rate too tough the time that he had at Bayern Munich. Like, say he wasn't winning league titles over there and winning cups and stuff. Just because obviously he didn't, really win the Champions League. So people say it was an okay time there. You done kind of what we expected, but we needed you to do more. But yeah, I think with Alonso, and that's why I've got the formation up here. I tried to get a 3-4-2-1 kind of thing going on, but we'll change it around in terms of players. So us three and people in the chat, please help us out here and before we get to the questions and then head out. We're going to pick our team for next season purely based on the players that we currently have. Not any new players. Like we don't know who we're going to sign. So with that, we can't really think that far ahead. Obviously, I'll put in the first player straight off the back. And I'm going with that formation that he's used in most of his games, just for a point of reference. Obviously, we know Ali is going to be in goal.
Yep.
Left-sided centre-back. I'll go, each of you, I'll pick a position, and then obviously we'll talk about it. Left-sided centre-back. Els.
Oh, this is tough.
I wish you asked me that.
We can debate it. We can debate. People in the chat, please get involved. Who would you put in left-sided centre-back if we were to play this formation next season?
Gomez.
Remember, you wanted Xabi Alonso, so I hope you got the answers,
Gomez.
I'm not sure. I think I might put Robbo.
Left-sided centre-back. Fight your
Robbo
case.
gets sold by the next manager.
Just because I see, because of how dominant Virgil and Konate can be in a two. And if you think about it, last season, I'm pretty sure Klopp played Robbo more in a 3 and had Trent inverted anyway. But I just think the dominance of Konate and Matip, we might not necessarily need, Konate and Virgil, we might not necessarily need another pure centre-back. I think with how Xabi Alonso loves playing possession, I think you'll see Robbo move forward and the wing back move forward too. So I just see it as being quite a fluid formation. And Liverpool are so used to playing with 2 at the back anyway. So
like that. So we're never gonna have 3 at the back regardless anyway.
It's cool. So I think I put Robbo in there.
Okay, 1 pick for Robbo. Came out left side of centre back.
Hey, Gomez. Gomez ain't leaving that position. Like Robbo's never getting that position back off him.
Interesting.
No.
Yeah, listen, I'm not. I don't. The thing is, I don't really disagree.
Robbo was shocking last season. Let's be fair. Like, it's absolutely shocking last season.
Sorry,
and if you're talking about a possession player, Robbo couldn't pass the ball to the next man last season. He can't play centre. Can't play centre, Robbo.
Just a quick one. Is it how do you guys? What do you think it'll be? Do you think it'll be 3-2-4-1 or 3-4-3? And then we can just move any positions around, or 3-5-2.
3-4-3. Kind of 3-5-2, 3-4-3.
Because I know he's got kind of like the 2 sit in that attacking kind of midfieldish position.
Doesn't he play those two who are left and right, kind of further back, like attacking midfielders? Yeah, when I put the players in, I'll be able to move the positions. They're not wide, are they? They're not wide. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So 1 vote for Gomez, 1 vote for Robertson. I think people in the chat, most of them were going with Gomez. If I had to pick between the 2, I'll probably go with Gomez for the time being. Not even so much because of what he's done this season. It's just more in my mind. Anytime I thought about Liverpool playing 3 at the back, I've always thought Gomez, Van Dijk, and Konate I feel like having that back line should allow you to be able to kind of, that's a good enough base. You got pace, you got power, composure, calmness, couple man who can play on the ball. You got one brilliant passer of the ball at the back there. You got the brute force in Konate, and then you actually got the one who can dribble in terms of Gomez being able to move up and down, obviously, on the pitch. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Gomez for the time being. I'm not even going to discuss that one because I already feel like that's quite easy. And I'm assuming we're going with Konate as the right-sided centre-back.
Yeah.
So, oops, sorry.
Third best centre-back in the league.
Some would say Saliba is in that conversation, but
No,
well, the fact that you said third best.
He's second.
Oh, you think Saliba? Oh, okay. You actually have me thinking there for a minute. All right. People in the chat, let me know. K-Mac will go with you. I'll pick another position.
Please pick the left side.
Nope. Just for that, I'm going to go the right midfield position, whatever you want to call that.
That's Trent.
Trent Alexander.
Trent can play the Frimpong role.
You could do that.
Get double.
But you think defensively?
Goals,
do you think defensively, as we know, and I'm not saying he's poor defensively because he's actually pretty decent.
Doesn't
do you
need
think
to,
defensively?
Mate. Doesn't need to. He's got three at the back now. He's got Konate. He's also going to have an absolute monster next to him, running wise. He we're probably going to pick as well, aren't we?
Else? What were we saying?
What, far right, yeah?
Yeah, far right.
This is actually difficult, you know.
I don't feel like this is just a simple pick, you know.
So crazy people, man. Bradley's played 5 games. Come on.
No. Listen, this whole Bradley thing.
It's fitting everyone in. That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But this is going to be roughly kind of what we think is going to kind of happen.
I'll go Trent. Yeah, Trent has to be right.
Trent Alexander-Arnold. Scouser in the team. All right. Else sticking with you.
Oh, centre.
Nope. Up front. Centre forward.
I'll put Nunes there. I'm going to say
You're just a hater anyway. K-Mac. Who you go with?
What, straight down the middle?
Up front.
Jota.
People in the chat. Jota or Nunes or someone else. I mean, Gakpo is there still, by the way, guys. We're not forgetting him. He is on the title of the show. People in the chat, let me know who's going down the middle for you in Liverpool's new look attack. Bloody hell. I'm already seeing the names pop up. Nilgana with Jota. Yuvraj with Jota. Gagandeep with Jota. Big up Gagandeep, by the way. Curtis Match. Obviously, that's the thing. Oh, Tony Hoare is saying Nunes. Leopold is saying Nunes. Keep it level. Say I like this girl. She knows Nunes is the guy. No, she's just being a hater. She's just being a hater. Don't listen to the Nunes. So just being a hater because I don't know her beef with Jota. Keep it level. Is the same thing. Frank, you're saying Jota. Kind of split slightly. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then a fourth one for Jota.
But how many would have both? Would you guys have both in the front three, Nunes and Jota? Because I would have Jota in there anyway.
Yeah, I'd have Jota down the centre and Nunes on the left, but he's going to be obviously further back.
If we're basically just on the players that we've got, then like that's kind of what I would have.
Okay.
So okay, I'm going to put Jota up front.
Okay.
And then obviously we'll put Nunes in there as the left winger for the time being. But some people are also telling me it goes like this though. And then of course when we put the right guy in, let's just put him in now. It's not even
then please don't put Nunes there.
But this is because I know some of you in the chat were saying it could be like a 3-4-2-1 type of
not put
situation.
Nunes there.
So this is Alonso's team next season.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is if Alonso's the manager.
Salah's not there, mate.
Okay,
Salah's
I'm
not
just saying based off of the players, that we actually have.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. Being controversial.
Yeah.
We have to switch Jota and Nunes.
So
I mean that's fire, that, isn't it? I mean that's fire.
So you just put Jota in Nunes.
Yeah, in that position, yeah, because I'm not fancying Nunes too much.
That works for me as well, actually.
Jota there, yeah.
He can do both. They can interchange anyway. I've seen them do it loads.
Okay. K-Mac, centre midfield. By the way, there's only 2 spots left for this centre midfield.
I'll do the left-hand side, Jones.
All right, you do left, and then
Curtis Jones.
you do
Left-hand
the right.
side, Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones.
No, far left.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you're saying
far left, Curtis Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
That's his natural position.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's let him do what he's good at.
Okay. No. I'm hearing it. So who goes in centre midfield?
That's what Alonso will do, mate. Alonso will play the players where the bloody supposed to get played.
That would be nice.
It's just our manager that doesn't do that. We know that.
So this Gagandeep's obviously saying here, if you're dropping the 2 players back, then you'd have Gakpo on the left side instead of Nunes. So he'd take Nunes out completely, leave Jota up top, and then have Gakpo in that position. I'm not disagreeing with anything. That's kind of a good shout.
It is a good shout.
Jones left wing back.
I
don't think
he doesn't play wing backs like that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be like, because the way he even plays Frimpong is like a right midfielder. Like, it's not even really a right back. Like he might slot in there if they need to go to a back 4. I think that's when you see the Grimaldos and the Frimpongs head back into those kind of positions. But I feel like they would always try and set up with 3 at the back. And to be honest, their left side is centre back and the right side is centre back. Probably more so the left sided, because you got Nkape, him on that side. I can't remember the other guy who plays on that side, but they seem to push up a bit more. And I feel like even that's it. And I think even Amorim as well with Inacio, exactly. They can kind of come out. Remember, we're so used to the right hand side doing all of that for us. Trent, back in the day, bombing up and down that right side, whipping balls in. Trent doing invert. It's always been that right hand side. Maybe he might actually switch the focus to the left and potentially have Trent doing something different. Again, I don't know. I don't really know. Scraps is saying here, Zobo should be as one of those 10s.
Probably.
Sure.
Yeah, that was what I was going to pick, but you said that Salah's got to be there, so.
No. Listen, I'm saying Salah's got. I'm saying Salah will be here.
But if
next
Salah's
season,
still at the
but
club,
if
then
you
he plays, obviously.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying.
But if he's not, then Zobo plays there for me. But yeah.
Could you not do Zobo, Salah, and Jota?
Yeah.
I'm not
Nunes play. You just don't want Nunes in the team, do you, G?
Listen, I'm just the host. I'm here to give you the platform to fight your own cases. Personally, if you ask me, if we played in that formation in the 3-4-2-1, I would have Jota up front. The problem with having Salah in that position, I don't feel like he's gonna do that well in that position.
I agree.
Obviously, I'm not saying he can't learn it. I'm not saying he's one of the best players in the world. He'd have to learn to adapt. So you would start him off. But I almost feel that he'd have to almost switch to a 3-4-3 with Salah in the team. But when Salah drops out of the team or gets benched or whatever, he'll go back to a 3-4-2-1 with someone else in that, maybe Szoboszlai in that position instead. That's where I'm just a bit like, okay, cool, kind of thing. All right, the centre midfield slots then. Who's left centre mid? And Thiago is not a part of this, by the way.
Oh, no.
Mac.
We're going under the assumption that he's not signing a new deal.
Mac the 10. Number 10. Yeah? Number 10. Mac.
Number 10.
In the number.
So we're still playing him in centre midfield. Well, I guess it's the 8 position, so I guess we can kind of... What about you, Els? What's your left side of centre mid?
McAllister for me.
I'm assuming the right side.
I actually have no idea.
You know what I love?
Well, who's available? Who's doing it? Sorry, go on.
Do you know what I love? I love the fact that everybody in the chat is so brainwashed by Klopp that they're looking at this formation and trying to put in a Klopp team. Like, oh, he can't
Yeah,
play this.
guys, don't think of this.
Not
Yeah,
playing
don't
like
think of this
Klopp.
as Yeah, we
This
got to
isn't
remember
Klopp.
this is Alonso. Forget what. Listen,
Yeah,
next
his
season we're gonna have to
tactic.
forget about what Klopp does anyway. We're gonna have to move on from that. I'm talking about
It's
if
so
Xabi
funny
Alonso
though,
come
mate.
in first game of the season and we're like, yo, this is the lineup I want against, I don't know, one of the newly promoted teams, because we always seem to get those at the beginning of the season. What's our first 11? But right-sided, you've got, so available, we've got Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Bajcetic, technically speaking, Harvey Elliott. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Endo.
Oh, snap. Endo. Sorry, guys. Endo. And big up Neil Gunner. Endo has to play. You need the engine. I hear it. That's definitely a good shot.
He would have played for me, Neil, but Salah has to get stuck in there. If he's got him next season, he's probably going to play him. But I don't think he will. I don't think he will have him next season.
Yeah, Bajcetic. Yeah, Bajcetic as well. Yeah.
I mean, my personal pick would have been Thiago, but G stole that from
me.
There's
no Thiago. We're not doing that. I don't think he.
Choice, I have to put it out there. Would be Endo.
I mean, it'd be some turnaround, wouldn't it? I mean, U-turn if he does sign a new contract when we haven't even got a manager.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Friends as well, no? Alonso and Thiago. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Hold on.
You never know. He might just say,
"Oh, Thiago, assistant manager."
I don't believe that's going to work the way people think it's going to work in their brains. I feel like we think it's going to work in the way that we think. But I don't feel like that's going to be a good. I think Alonso, if you're coming, bring the staff that you have at Bayern Leverkusen. Just bring those guys. Thiago, come as a The thing is now, I feel like Thiago's going to want to still play football though. So I feel like he's going to.
Gee, he can play.
Okay, look, Els. I feel like we've only seen him once in the last year. So I don't feel like that's enough of a basis for us to sit here and say he can play.
That's fair.
We don't even know.
We can play. We can put him in. But we have like a very, very sensible second choice. Very sensible second choice. I mean, a bit like this season, like we don't really necessarily miss him, but he's there.
Yeah, we don't. No, we don't. We don't. So let's say your second choice was you put Endo in there.
Yeah, but Stefan Bajcetic, if he had the development I thought he would have at this stage without his injuries, I would 100% have put him in there because he was looking really good. But obviously, I have to put Endo in there because Stefan just hasn't played enough games, and I don't know where he even is. So, yeah, Endo for now.
I forgot about Fabio Carvalho. Bloody hell, yeah. Forgot about that. And Tyler Morton.
He'd work as well for Alonso. Carvalho. He'd do really well. He could play like that.
Because he actually played number 10. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'd be really good. Yeah. He'd do
Who would you put then?
Type of player, like for Alonso, but that's another story.
Who would you put then in the right centre midfield position?
So the right centre midfield. I mean, if you are playing Salah, I mean, for me, I don't think Salah's going to be here because I think Salah will be sold. Like, there's just too much on the table now. Like 200 million is the number now getting talked about. You'd be nuts. Like seriously, that could literally give the new manager a war chest that he needs, which is a bit like the Coutinho money, which funded Klopp's team. So I would put Dominic Szoboszlai where Salah is, and then I would play Endo in the right hand side, kind of more defensive midfield role.
I'm gonna put
and it would make sense because you've got Trent basically playing so far forward as he does. You know what I mean? And then you've got Dom buzzing around Nunes, creating.
And this is kind of my question.
Look at the Jota thing as well. I know a lot of people are saying Jota wouldn't work there. Jota is the best presser we've got in our team by a country mile. He's an absolute nightmare in this team, defenders to play against, and he plays in between the lines. That's kind of the position he plays anyway. Let's be honest. Like even if he's centre forward, he still plays that position. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm very intrigued. Obviously, I know you said
How is
obviously
Jones
because
not getting
Szoboszlai.
picked? Sorry,
He is there.
Jones is our first midfielder on the pitch for me. Like,
Yeah, no, definitely. Listen,
incredible.
I've had my reservations, more so because I felt like Klopp was playing him out of position, not the actual talent of Jones. But
I still think
this
he is.
season, I mean, yeah, I still think he is. But he's been able to. This season, he's shown that I can actually play that position now. Like, I've got no problem with him playing left-sided central midfield for us in that free. And to be honest, if you're thinking about it, if you had to pick a midfield, he'd actually be the first name that you would pick in that midfield three. Because then you really are like, oh, I don't know if I play Endo, I don't know if I play McAllister. So Bozolai, if he wants to turn up today, then maybe. And he's injured, obviously, now for the next like 7 games or whatever it is. So I'm just interested. I'm just looking at this. Obviously, I know K-Mac with the caveat, so I will say that you did have Szoboszlai in the team instead of Salah, but we're saying, let's just say Salah's obviously still here. Your next choice was going to be Endo, and Els, your first choice was Thiago. Again, the caveat, but we're going with, if he doesn't obviously stay because of his contract's running out, that you both got Endo. I would have thought that straight away you both would have just said Szoboszlai in that central midfield position anyway, regardless.
Oh, I did. I did. Like if Salah's playing, then Dom's there. Like
Okay,
I did.
cool.
But I'm assuming that Salah's not there, and so Dom plays there, and then Endo. Like that's kind of how I work it. But yeah, Dom's there, like ahead of Endo, because McAllister can play DM. Like he's been playing it all season, really. So, and we've got 3 at the back as well. That's something we've not had.
Well, that leaves Robbo on the bench. Just in based on this team, that leaves Robbo on the bench, Szoboszlai on the bench, Gravenberch, Harvey Elliott, Gakpo. Who else am I missing in terms of first team? Is Kwanzaa. Obviously goalkeeper, and let's say maybe
Bradley.
a few.
Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley. Yeah, Bradley will be another name on the bench. Although I don't know how many defenders you'd want to have on the bench. Depends on how many other players. Because having too many defenders, I'm like, nah, I kind of need more attackers.
If we do get Alonso, I wouldn't be surprised if there was 2 other players.
Diaz, sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot about Luis Diaz. Bloody hell.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was 2 other players that would get a good look in. One of them's Luke Chambers, because Alonso wanted to sign him, and he's on the left, by the way. And another guy as well, Tyler Morton. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a look in next season, because he's been absolutely sensational on his loan for Hull and the England under-21s, and he plays centre mid as well.
The thing is, okay, and before we go to big up, by the way, make sure you guys are smashing the like button, please. It helps out the channel quite a lot, and we will get to questions after this. So if you've got any questions, please just post them in the chat, and then we will be heading out in about 10 minutes. Really and truly, in the summer, again, on the basis that all the players here are kind of here. So taking out obviously Thiago, Matip, obviously because their contracts are running out. Who do you sign in the summer then? Because when I'm looking at this team, I don't feel like you have too much to really, unless you could sign, I don't know, Kimmich or something like. Fair enough, but I'm just talking in a general sense. What position are you signing if you had to, like, if we were to sign anybody?
Based on this formation?
Yeah, if we base it on this formation, what position? I don't need player necessarily, just position. Do you think we'd need to sign in?
I personally think someone on that left, because I would actually, ideally, I would actually put Curtis Jones in the middle.
Okay.
But because Curtis Jones is probably the most suited in the squad to that left, I would play him there, but not necessarily based on where I would like to see him. Because someone in the chat said, yeah, who holds the width on that left side?
Jones.
But I was going to say, I feel like maybe...
I see it.
I'm just with our team. With our team now, Jones would. But
I would prefer him in the middle.
I totally agree with you. I mean, 2 players I would go for a left-sided like wing back, left midfielder, like a really good one.
Grimaldo.
And I'd also a backup goalkeeper and another striker. I think we need another striker.
You see the backup goalkeeper thing, just quickly on that. I'll be honest. You see, unfortunately, where you got the best goalkeeper in the world in your team, I feel like you see that backup goalkeeper position. I'm kind of like, I would just be calm if you just bought like someone of the same kind of age as an Adrian, just obviously a better version of that type of player.
Yeah.
Just because I don't feel there's going to be a need in signing someone of like Kelleher's age, where they're like, well, I'm a goalkeeper. I kind of need to play because we've got like another 10 whatever years left at this, and having someone too young, they're not going to get enough games even to play anyway, and it's going to be a big ask for them to come in. Almost like was it Real Madrid or PSG? No, not even
a player of like Kasper Schmeichel's age, like
okay. Even if you had someone like him, or when was it Real Madrid? You had I can't remember.
David De Gea, if he's available.
Like, but I feel like someone like him would probably be like, "Nah, I'm coming in to start games." He might make up noise. I mean, like, was it Real Madrid or PSG who had a first goalkeeper, but they had Claudio Bravo as your second goalkeeper? Someone who's still decent.
It was Man City, wasn't it? Man City for a while.
Yeah, Man City for a while, but I remember he moved then to Real Madrid when they still had. This might be when they just bought Courtois, or maybe when they had someone else. But I just remember him being the second goalkeeper, and I remember sitting there thinking that'd be so sick to have someone like he's not going to make up noise. He don't mind playing every now and again, and he's still good enough where you're like, I'm not worried if you're in goal, kind of thing. And you're not going to make up too much noise because you're obviously a bit older now, but you still got your number one in Alisson. I just feel having this young goalkeeper stuff is kind of pointless. This ain't Football Manager. Like, I don't need him to sit there and train every day, like, and just not be doing anything. I do feel like he does need to, be of competent enough level where we can throw him in really in any kind of situation. And do you know what I mean? I think he'll be kind of good, but we'll have to wait and see. But this team is interesting.
Like Iker Casillas and then Dudek as their backup keeper.
Maybe not Dudek level. But you know what? I never rated Dudek, actually. I'm limited on that. I didn't think I actually rated it. Other than the Champions League final. And this is what I'm saying. But if we actually cast our minds back, I think most of us who will remember Dudek weren't really all there. He just gave me Sander Westerveld vibes. Like, you weren't really.
Westerveld was better than him, actually.
And that tells you everything that you need to know about bloody Sand thing. But guys, drop your questions in. Gonna go through them now. But obviously, that's the team that we're kind of looking at. Obviously, Zabozalai, you still got the Gravenberches,
Dom starts in my team chat, okay? It's just the Salah thing, okay? Just want to let you know that I picked him.
don't kill him, guys. Please don't kill him. Don't kill him. All right. Coolio. Let me go to the first one that I start up here. Big up Ravi. He's saying, question, who should we start versus Burnley? What I will say to that question is stay tuned for the preview that will be dropping on Friday to see who I would start against Burnley. I am not going to give you that right now. Question for all three. Can Liverpool cope playing with a back three? What do you guys think?
I'm not a fan, to be honest.
So these times you want Alonso, but now Alonso's coming to do back three. You don't want to do back three.
No, but it's also because of the players we have, the centre back we have. Because I think Gomez and Konate. Do you know what? Yeah, because I just remember Konza, but I think Gomez and Konate, they're more aggressive, strong, quick, comfortable going out wide. I think Konate's improved on the ball, but I think if we're going to play three at the back, we probably need another centre back that's quite comfortable on the ball, just to offer another passing lane or just to offer another threat. That's why I always like Matip in the team at times, because he was able to do that better than Konate. Even though Konate for me was better physically, and is a better centre back now. I always like Matip for his on the ball qualities, but yeah.
For me, we have been playing with a back three with Gomez in the team. he's been playing a lot more central. That's probably the reason why we've got the best defensive record this season. Probably behind Arsenal, maybe even Arsenal better than us now because they scored against us. But yeah, he drops in, and you know, we play with a really high line with 2 defenders most of the time, and now we're looking more solid because Gomez is a central defender more than a left back. So we are playing with a back 3. So if you carried on playing them next season, it's carry on normal jogging. And then you've just got the wide players in midfield.
He's not going to stay fit.
Who's that?
Gomez. He won't stay fit.
Yeah, you're just, like I told you, you're just a hater because you're out here just trying to jinx it.
I want it, but he's not going to stay fit.
No.
Can I tell you something interesting on Gomez, by the way? He's never played more than 7 games without getting injured.
Do you see my point?
He's now
on his whole time here.
Yeah, he's never played 7 games on the trot without getting injured. That's Gomez's record. Seriously, it's that bad. Like since his injuries, he's now on 11 games, and the reason why is he's not been redlined because he gets taken off a lot.
That's true.
They rotate defenders with subs. And he also plays him like higher up into midfield in the second half of games as well now. So he's not having to do as much stress work.
I feel like he was getting nosebleed settings when against Arsenal.
He's such a good player. Like such a good player right now. Like
I
can't wait for the new manager to try him. Like I think we'll see a different Gomez. He's only 26 as well, by the way. Feels like he's been with us for like ever.
He has. He's our longest service player. He's the longest serving player that currently in the Liverpool team, which is mad. Big up realism, Jared, every damn time, my bro. Who's the most effective in our team? Nunes, Diaz, or Gakpo? Just out of those 3. In fact, no. I'm gonna throw in the other 2, Jota and Salah. Who's the most effective forward we have?
Oh God. Okay, Jota.
Salah is most effective, of course.
And with else, it's Salah. I don't know why we're even debating this. We're talking about the best player, the best player in the world in his position. One of the best players in the world, period. One of the best players to ever play in the Premier League. One of the best right wingers, or if not the best right winger.
You're not reading the question.
Yeah,
effective in our team.
Yeah.
Salah
so who's scoring goals?
Singular. Salah is a team. He's singular.
But that
no. So who's scoring goals? Who's scoring goals? No. Who's scoring goals? Because I know it ain't Nunes.
Jota is a massive team player in the structure.
No. I'm not saying he isn't.
Yeah, he is. But in terms of making the team effective and having an influence on the team, Salah by far.
By far. Yeah. Don't let the chaos fool you. You know. Don't listen. Don't let all that running around and doing up 15 shots in games.
I love Salah, but I disagree on that. Sorry.
No. And the thing is, I blatantly hear what you're saying because what you're saying is still truth. But I'm sorry, I'm not budging on that. It has to be like El said it right there. Like this is the guy where we're still playing to like for him almost. Obviously, we play through Trent, but it's almost for Salah. Why? Because Salah's the one who's going to get on the end of things. Salah's the one that most teams, if not every team, are going to be most shook of in a sense of you can't just leave that guy by himself anywhere near the box because he'll hurt you at every opportunity. It's Salah, man. I'm not fighting anybody on this. you could have your opinion. I'm not gonna argue. Gagandeep, GT, if Fabio is back next season, do you reckon he can occupy one of the 10 spots behind the striker? I think Alonso will make him cook differently. I can't lie. What do you guys think? I think K-Mac, you mentioned it as well.
Depends on his attitude as well, by the way. But he's looking okay at Hull, by the way. He's already scored. I think he's got a goal and an assist already in like 3 games. So he's already introducing himself back into, and he's getting played in the right position, by the way. He's getting played as a 10. wasn't getting played as a 10 at Leipzig, by the way. He's getting played too wide. But it'd be interesting. I hope so. He's a good player.
Yeah, he is. He's a very good player. He's a very good player. Els, what do you think?
I don't think so. I think there's
Like I said, this hating that you're on, I have no idea
You
why.
know what? It's just because I'm just being real. I just haven't seen enough of him to say that he will get ahead of some of the 10s in our team. I don't see it.
I hear it. No,
Yeah.
no, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Big up realism, Jared. We have one homegrown spot available to buy, and if Thiago goes, that will be 2. Which 2 midfielders will you buy to start for the team?
It'll be
Realistic
more than that
choices.
because we're losing Adrian as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
homegrown
let's
spot.
say,
And I think
Yes, pick
Matip's homegrown as well, isn't he? So that'll be another spot. We'll have a few.
I think maybe, yeah. Let's say, okay, cool. You can only pick 2 midfielders that you could sign.
Oh God, you're asking me to. Can that be anybody, or is that like realistic?
Yeah, no. I mean, realistic. Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, otherwise I'll be like, can we sign Tony Cruz or Modric, or if they're available.
I'm guessing he's saying
one midfielder would be Zubamendi.
Yeah. So one of those has to be, homegrown.
So I pick one, Zubamendi, and that's probably the guy that Alonso will sign, by the way.
I like Zubamendi.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
He's a good player.
That's actually a good shout. I would actually sign him still. It's difficult, I know, because there's so many.
It is difficult.
Yeah, there's so many midfielders out there, but yeah, Neil Gunner, you wish.
All I know is we 100% need a 6. We 100% need a defensive midfielder.
When you said that, like we've got no 6s.
You said that with such conviction as well. I just gave you Zubamendi.
That's true. I agree with that, Shao. I'll agree with that, and
I do like the other player that's actually at Leverkusen. God, he's the Argentine guy. I can't remember his name. Was it in that?
Palacios.
In that Palacios, but he gets injured a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So,
no, I don't want another injured bloody player.
I know he gets injured a lot. He's a good player. He gets injured a lot.
Oh, he said he meant non-home.
Kamara, Villa. I said years ago we should have got him on a free. Kamara.
We could have. Well, Gerrard did.
I was shouting.
Gerrard's seen the talent there.
Yeah, I would pick Kamara. If we can get him out of Villa, I'm not sure how easy that will be.
I think it might be depending on. I don't know what the fee for someone like him would be, to be honest. So,
I think next season a release clause kicks in.
Oh, do it.
I've heard like rumours somewhere. I can't remember where it was. But I think it's like 60 million or something, maybe. Like a release clause will kick in his contract.
That's going to be pricey. That's going to be pricey. Let's hope that Liverpool is still going to spend money in the thing. With a new big up gang, with a new manager, sporting director, and backroom staff coming in, how do you guys think? How long do you guys think it will take for us to compete again for the title? And how much of a drop off do you think we will have? I guess both questions are kind of the same. Do you think? Okay, let's just say Alonso. Do you think we compete for the title next season under Alonso?
No. Not for me. I think it might be too soon. I think we can finish in the top 4 just based on the players we have. But,
yeah. That should be minimum anyway.
Yeah, of course. But I think, especially with Pep, I think it'll be a big ask for him to.
I forget about this Pep Guardiola guy.
Exactly. He's not going. He's staying right where he is.
Now that Klopp's gone as well, he's like, listen, man, I can maybe have a bit of a free ride now.
Honestly. So I just think, I would not necessarily 4th, maybe 3rd, but I don't think we'll compete.
Okay, mate.
It's an interesting one for me because if De Zerbi goes to Chelsea, Chelsea will be an absolute monster next season. Like the amount of incredibly talented kids they've got, he will get them working. Like look what he's done with Brighton with the kids there. I don't know. I think we'd be happy. I'd be happy with a top 4 finish, which I think we could probably do with the squad we've got. But you know, you just don't know with Alonso. Look what he's done with Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, when he took over Bayer Leverkusen, they were in the relegation zone. He almost got them into the Champions League. He was only 2 points off, and he only had like 7 or 8 games. Like, and he literally just won every single game. Like, it was bonkers. Like the turnaround is just instant with him. So I just don't know. I really don't know. Like, but I do think there will be a few players that will go, like, out of our team next season, and some of them might actually be really big ones. But I think that might have to happen for the new guy. They never come in, do they, and just like sit there and do nothing. Like, not how it works. Like,
it's gonna.
Klopp,
I would say
gutted loads out, didn't he, in the first like 2 seasons?
He gutted loads, but you got to also remember, he also, in gutting loads, I think he was able to do that because he showed progression, obviously getting us back into the top 4. Also, that first season, League Cup final, Europa League final, like first half season, like he got us into these finals. So I almost felt like even the board looked at it and thought, yeah, okay, cool. You know what I mean? We can do a little bit more. Obviously, we wish they'd done a lot more, but they done a little bit more because they said, all right, we can see something with this guy. We can see, you know what I mean? He can potentially do something. Maybe let's give him better tools. Of course, I know, guys, we wish they'd given him a bit more to, you know, solidify us up there in terms of winning back-to-back Premier Leagues, which I'll be honest, I think we could have done in 18, 19, 19, 20. But, you know, it kind of is what it is. Last question up here. Big up no gunner. What style do you want to see personally? More, I'm guessing that's gegenpress, or more Pep controlled style? This is just down to preference, so you guys let me know. I prefer the Pep controlled style, to be honest.
I want to see more direct football. I think we've got a lot of players that can work with direct football now, and we don't use it as much. For me, I think we can score goals with like 3 passes. Like, seriously, like, we've got some absolute monsters of passing. Yeah.
No, I agree. I don't want us to be like Pep. I liked us being the disruptors to Pep and their system. I loved it. I loved the chaos. Yeah.
I'm just saying that. You see that Pep football? I mean, a couple Premier Leagues, and I'm just saying. Like,
no, I hear it. But I liked how our identity was just completely different. I love that we were just
a genuine question here. Do you actually watch Pep Guardiola football? Do you like it?
I watch. You know what it is? I'll tell people, like, you guys can. When I take the thing off, you'll see I've got my Barcelona. I've been watching Barcelona before Pep Guardiola came in, probably since Mark Overmars was there, because he was my favorite. Because he was left-footed, I'm left-footed. It was Rivaldo, left-footed. I just like left-footed players. When Pep Guardiola came in, for me, his style of play, I just think it just brought like it just brought this sense of it. I understand when people say it's boring, I fully get it. But the reason why I always felt it was boring was because, one, he had a cheat code where he had Messi, Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta. So he had a cheat code in the team anyway. Nobody's better than those guys. So any formation he would have played would have won regardless. But also, his style of football is just so controlled, but you don't see that there's so many moving pieces to what he actually does. Like, it's not even just like, I remember watching a video that Carl Walker, when he first joined Manchester City, and he was talking about like the differences between obviously being at Spurs and then obviously being under Pep Guardiola. And he was like, they were in a training session, and he was just like, the amount of instructions that you have to take on in just one move, in one phase of play, is more than you'll ever hear from anybody else. But of course, we see it as passing around, but there's like a method to the madness. There's a method behind the science, and that's what I love most. It's just watching him throughout the years. I've just never ever seen anything like it. But what else said about being disruptors and what you said about getting the free passes, like they say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So it really doesn't even matter, because if you can win the game and you win trophies, Jose Mourinho, I thought, played boring as hell football, super defensive, but he won 3 league titles. Can I really sit here and say, oh, that was crap? No way. I can never say that. You know what I mean? But I've just always, like, Pep is like the manager. I always, if I had to learn of someone, it would be someone like him. But I would learn the man management style off of Klopp, 100%. I'll be like, nah, I need to learn how to deal with players, and not even deal with players, the way Klopp even moves prior to signing a player. He needs to know that your auntie isn't some drug dealer from back in wherever. But I actually like that, because it's not just about, oh, I just signed a player. No, I need to know what your family's like. What are your kids like? You know, are your kids, do they need to go to school? You know, how old are they? All of these things. That's what I'll learn from Klopp. The tactical side.
Have you heard the Jota questions thing that was on Sky Sports? Did you hear it? So loads of fans asked him questions.
I didn't hear it.
And one of the questions was, what's the fondest memory you've got of Jurgen Klopp? And he said, when I first met him. And he was like, he said, okay, why? And he goes, when I met him, he invited my girlfriend in at the time to sit with me, and asked her, how do you feel about Jota moving to Liverpool? Are you okay? Like, he was literally asking her, like, as much as he was asking him. And he goes, it was amazing, because, like, obviously she's my fiance wife now, and we've got children, you know, blah blah blah. But it was just like, he was so thoughtful about the family, the nucleus, like, of not just Jota, like he included. And it's going to be really, like I said, it's going to be so hard to find a man, the man, like, not the manager. Like, it's going to be so hard to find a man.
And I think that going back to what you, by the way, keep it real. Yeah, like I used to play left wing and up front, bro. Like, that's what you think I'm one of these, like Jerry and that, or Jerry playing centre back. I'm not doing all of that running around and doing. That's crazy. I let those guys do that. I'm like Salah. There's no way I'm tracking back to help you in any situation. That's for you to sort out for yourself. But if you need me to score a goal, I'm there to, you know what I mean? But no, I hear what you're saying as well here about describing Thiago. I don't know, because we've never seen him as a manager, if I'm being, totally honest. Big up 12th man. Make sure you guys, of course, head on over there to his channel. Make sure you're subscribing if you haven't done so already. I haven't watched this Trent thing. I just saw a clip on Twitter. I don't know if you guys have seen it. He was talking about trying to win the quad and stuff. And no. I listen, I'm happy that for the first time on the clock, the team are actually talking like this. Because, usually, like, I know obviously Klopp's a manager, you obviously have to downplay it a little bit. But what they used to always do is kind of just downplay it. And it's like, bro, we want the title. Like, I don't want you to, like, say that there's nothing wrong with saying it. Even if I think people are so worried about saying it and then being wrong. Oh, you didn't win it, but you said you wanted to win. Bro, if you don't win it, you don't win it. But I hear Manchester City every single year, and they don't win every trophy every single year. Every year they tell you, we're here for the title. Like, what else am I battling for? I'm not battling to lose it or to, come second. And yes, I'm very greedy. I'm very, very greedy, unfortunately. But guys, we reached the end of the show. Big up K-Mac, big up Els, big up everybody who is in the chat. Make sure you guys head on over to Gold Diggers, please. LFC Els on Twitter. If you want to give her a shout, make sure you guys head on over there. And K-Mac as well. Please make sure you're heading over to K-Mac's channel to subscribe.
I'm only like 10 away from 200. Come on, let's do it.
Guys, come on, man. There's still, 15, 16
I don't do many shows, but I do a lot of other shows.
Just for that, K-Mac's going to have to now do a show some point this week. I'm putting you on the spot there. But guys, please make sure you head on over there and please go over to the Gold Diggers, as I mentioned before, to show them some love. Tell Thames I need to have a conversation with her about Chelsea, but we'll get into that another time. But now, big up everyone over on that side. Guys, thank you for rocking with us this evening. It's a bit of a late one, I know. So guys, please make sure you enjoy the rest of your evening. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you share. Please make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and we are out.